Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today at the symposium, and thank you for your interest in rare and orphan medical product drug development. My name is Maryna Kolochavina, and I will be speaking today about the Five Voices Consortium designed for making the process of approval, reimbursement, and use of rare and orphan medical products more predictable. So let's start. When I asked my 18-year-old patient what is the most challenging thing for him, he said, "I know that I have a degenerative rare genetic condition. I go through stages thinking about it, and then I try to forget about it. My health has always been up and down since I was a child, so I never know what to expect. I must be careful not to go too deep into thinking, otherwise it becomes very frustrating and makes me anxious." When I asked him what will make a meaningful change for you, he replied that there are basically two things. First is to see that community is acting with the best intention for pediatric rare and orphan conditions. Developing drugs for children with rare diseases is crucial to ensure new treatment options. At the same time, he said, most of the pediatric orphan drug approvals were not for new drugs, and some represented relatively minor expansion of use. And the second thing is hope to be treated one day, as he wants to be there for his one day children, his family, as long as possible. Unfortunately, there is no treatment available in research to treat his condition. Policymakers should ensure that resources are being used effectively and efficiently to stimulate development of new therapies in rare diseases that do not have any other treatment options. I think we're all in agreement here that it is truly important to listen to our patients in need. So you may argue that there has been a lot of progress in decades since the first orphan regulation was introduced to the community. The question is if this is enough progress to all our key stakeholders and to our patients in need. One of the most important topics is coordination of efforts and gaining common understanding and alignment between stakeholders. Currently, we have only limited in time and in number of stakeholders integrated activities, such as patient voice or patient-focused drug development initiatives, or early regulatory schemes, or some payers patient listenings initiatives. Current stakeholders map shows that patient being most interested but least powerful in making decisions. And there are several gaps between regulatory bodies, payers, HTAs, and medical product team, the team who is developing the drug at pharmaceutical companies and biotechs, which means different things at different companies. In real time, this means that clinical development may end up with endpoints that are non-meaningful or not timely to the patient. It may cause disagreements between stakeholders in decisions and designs, outcomes, endpoints, and comparators, meaning ultimately that the medical product can be approved but not reimbursed, or may be restricted in coverage, or patient type, and many more situations we witness, unfortunately, in practice. We suggest to develop an integrated framework to coordinate stakeholders' interactions and align their expectations with the patient and rare and orphan medical product team in the middle, and all stakeholders centered around the common goal of accelerating valuable new therapy to the patient in need. For our presentation today, I made an analysis of a cohort of 101 rare and orphan medical products randomly selected and approved before 2007 and after, in order to get a feeling about lifecycle model and approach taken for medical product approval, reimbursement, and use. The results show that we are in the process of moving from siloed functionality to partially integrated activities with real-world evidence enrichment, with more confirmatory trials, with earlier patient access and use. integration has been limited by the available resources, limited in time, and in the number of stakeholders or participants in this integration process. It has been accelerated due to increasing availability of regulatory tools for collaboration. In most of the cases, the integration right now is either problem-driven or experience-driven or opportunity-driven. What does it mean? Problem-driven example is that we already have a problem, for example, with patient enrollment into ongoing clinical trial, and we mitigate it by adding real-world evidence or integrating patient journey map. Experience-driven example was that when successful experience from the task completed in one region or function or industry is transformed to another one, for example, insights gained in the US are transferred to Europe. Opportunity-driven, usually technology or data-driven initiative due to novel ways of working, updated level of evidence, disease knowledge, new products or service models in organization. For example, a new mobile technology, mobile patient application supports real-world evidence effectiveness or added as a synthetic arm to clinical program. But however, lack of fully integrated tools and an integrated framework results in heterogeneous approaches to rare disease medical product development, commercialization, patient access and use, including inconsistent incorporation of the stakeholders' voices across the entire medical product lifecycle, variability in research and development processes, commercialization, patient access and use, delayed or missed opportunities to accelerate new therapies to patients, heterogeneous patient subject matter experts, and organizational knowledge. All of this, coupled with differences due to local standards of care, methods of treatment, has resulted in a myriad of opinions regarding decision-making, strategic thinking, and operational execution, leading to unpredictable approach with variable outcomes. A cumulative summary review of the cases where companies reach success with rare and orphan medical products leads us to propose an integrated framework, which look like the visual on the slide. In general, it shows a shift from one-time approach and ad hoc approach in certain functions into a totality one, when multi-stakeholder and multifunctional activities and decisions are synchronized earlier in the process and last through the length of the life cycle with prioritized effort per resource. So instead of functional results of integrated framework delivers rare and orphan asset case ready for approval, case ready for reimbursement, and case ready for use. Instead of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 real-world evidence and commercialization, it is focused on totality of required measures to prove safety, efficacy, quality, value, and access of the medical product. We propose to confirm an integrated framework based on actual consortium with synchronized tools, incentives, and activities, and potentially create new tools along the way to decrease the uncertainty of the process, and this way to increase the transparency and clarity of medical product evidence and value proposition. An integrated framework like this will show in real time obstacles, challenges, and opportunities to be addressed, include analysis of historical data, expert opinion, and analytical predictability, show unbiased review of a benefit in time, cost, and probability of success with clear baseline and outcomes to all key stakeholders, empower all key stakeholders with meaningful, timely, and synchronized decisions and solutions, and ensure an aligned strategic approach and integrated operational solution implementation for workflow during the medical product lifecycle. So where should we start? We suggest focusing in the beginning on 12 defined workflows in rare and orphan space, where companies face the highest rate of uncertainties and doubts. In order to identify these 12 workflows, we made an analysis of almost 600 rare and orphan medical products lifecycle plans, thousands of EPARs, FDA, NDA, BLA reports, orphan designations, HTA reports, and payers' opinions from 5 countries. These data are publicly available through open sources or registered databases. In total, we selected 42 sources for this analysis. No confidential information has been disclosed. We reviewed all these reports, looking for the reasons leading to negative opinions received, rejections, restrictions, lost coverage, limitation of the label, ask for additional evidence, ask for additional value, deprioritize drugs, and delayed country launches. Uncertainties in evidence dossiers or value propositions specified, post-approval or post-reimbursement follow-up measures highlighted. The reasons with the highest rates were grouped into our suggested 12 workflows presented here. We have a discussion why there is a need to build an integrated framework and what are the expected results and benefits to all key stakeholders. So I will not repeat it again. There were multiple conferences reflecting this message to date. Let me please highlight here the most important points that the new integrated approach will propose. So it proposes to see an integrated rare and orphan framework as a common platform to pull all pieces together. It proposed to focus on 12 workflow areas where companies are making most of the mistakes and where they face the highest rate of uncertainties and doubts. Add prospectively feedback from all key stakeholders for each workflow. Follow proactively specific methodology, organizational structure, and process roadmap. Adhere to quality principles to improve the outcomes for stakeholders working in rare and orphan space. For this, we invited different representatives to join our 5 Voices Consortium from business voice, patient voice, regulators, payers, HTAs, funders, investors, and financial service companies. Why? Because these are the voices who are making decisions how medical product is going from the idea to actual patient. And in total to date, we have over 210 companies, organizations, institutions, agencies, focused experts, individuals joining our consortium to share their voice and align stakeholders' opinion. As you can see, our work is not theoretical. We plan to have actual collaboration between stakeholders during the process and real practical results. 5 Voices Consortium, comprising of patient community, business, regulators, payers, HTAs, and funders, is a first-of-its-kind collaboration bringing together all stakeholders to define specific solutions to challenging problems facing rare and orphan medical product development, approval, commercialization, patient access, and use. Following the Orphan Drug Act, these efforts with 210 participants represents its biggest asset. The envisioned impact of 5 Voices is to generate an integrated framework designed to enhance predictability across rare and orphan medical product lifecycle, minimize uncertainty both in the disease and product development, expedite the timelines for regulatory review, reimbursement, and maximize patients' access and use. If you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I've added my contact details in the last slides of this presentation, and I would be happy to support and continue our communication further. Thank you for your interest. With this, I will close my presentation and open space for question and answers.